everyone, this is Nicole. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to a brand new video tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you a cool way to create watercolor background using some distress spray stain. And today we're talking about not spraying on top of the watercolor paper. We're actually using the straw that picks up the ink for the mist in the spray stain bottle and using that to create watercolor background. So I'm starting with distress watercolor paper. This is a smoother side, so if you want more texture you can use rough side, but we're going to be stamping on it, so I wanted to use smooth side. I'm going to attach that with my painter's tape onto a watercolor board, and I'm just leaving about a 1/4 inch, a little bit less than 1/4 inch gap on the edges. I'm taking my watercolor brush. This is a square flat brush from My Artscape. It has a watercolor brush set, and I'm just using that and to add lots of water onto the surface. So basically I'm just adding the water for the whole area, adding a lot water because I want the colors actually really float around and mix together. So here is the first color. I'm starting with a stormy sky, and I'm going to speed up the process so you can see the whole card layer come together. I am just taking I'm actually unscrewing the top and using that tip of the straw where the pointy end is to drop the color off. So I'm just letting that tip to touch the watercolor surface and just releasing the colors that way. And as you can see over here, I'm using some dark colors, and I actually end up using my tip to mix the color and move the purple color over here. This is a Dusty Concord, and that was actually a mistake because later on I found out that the tip actually scratches the paper, so it shows when it dries. So when you try this technique, don't do that. Use your brush to mix the colors, but I didn't know that because it was my first time experimenting with this technique. So the colors I used are Stormy Sky, Peacock Feathers, and also Dusty Concord. I thought these are pretty good mixed together. There's some bright color, which is a peacock feather, but also a good blue and good purple that goes together really well. So I'm just going back and forth, adding more colors and mixing and blending them with my brush. And later on, I'll be adding more colors to vary the intensity, but it's totally up to you however you want this to look. And the edges of the layer is going to be pretty dark, and I don't want that to stay on it, so I picked up my tissue. I'm actually using baby wrap, but you can use paper towel as well to pick up those all blended colors that are kind of grayish looking. I don't want that to stay there, so I'm mixing it up. And for a darker color intensity, I am taking my spray stains for each color once again and tapping onto the work surface so that they have some good spots, dark spots to go onto the layer. Like I said before, when you work with distress paints or distress inks or even this spray stain, it looks horrible when you work on it. But let it dry, and this would look really cool when you let it dry. So as I'm peeling this away, I can see the dry piece, and this is my favorite part actually. Just really looks really good together. Just let it dry naturally, walk away for 15 minutes, and you can come back to work on it for the rest of the card. For the card base, I'm using Fog. Actually, never mind. I'm using Soft Slate from Stampin' Up, and this is a top folding card, but you can use any grayish cardstock colors that you have. And I want that the watercolor piece to go on top of the card base cricket way, like diagonally. So I trace the paper and cut it with my paper cutter, and I'm attaching that with my foam tape. I would actually use fun foam pads because that would give you a really even, nice coverage, flat dimension, but I'm trying to use up my foam tape so that I can just use it all up before I move on to fun foam pads. I wanted more white to show up because I thought the whole card was a little bit more on a dark side. So I'm taking my fence. This is also spray stain. Make sure you shake it really well before you use it. And I'm just tapping it so that the splashes are all over the place. Then I let that splatter sit for about 5 minutes, and I'm just picking up the excess and or non-dry part of the spray stain with my cloth. That way I have a soft but opaque white splotches onto the card. I thought that would give you a really cool look. For the sentiment, I'm taking a sentiment set from Mama Elephant. This was a January released set called Merci, and I'm taking this big, bold sentiment, which I really love. And I wanted that to be a whole focal point. I thought this would be a great one to go on top of this watercolor background without distracting the whole card. And this was my mistake because I should have stamped on it before I actually attached the piece onto our card base. So I end up taking off the layer and stamping it up once again. This is a advantage of using clear stamp set because you can stamp right on top of it. And that finished the whole card. This is a pretty cool, you can even create a galaxy look with it. I thought it would be a really cool technique to try and mix a watercoloring technique on top of it. So I hope you enjoyed. And this is a really fun and easy card to create. So I highly recommend you give it a try. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe button. This really means a lot to me, and it helps me going and create more videos for you guys to share. And also, if you are interested in any of the products that I use on today's project, please click the description link below, or you can scroll on the bottom of my blog post if you're watching this video from my website or on your email. To check out more close-up photos and details of today's projects, make sure to go to my website at scrapsandstamps.com and also check out other projects over there for your daily inspirations. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you with my next project. Bye-bye.